The G7 is floating a bold idea, a wealth tax targeting the ultra-rich, those with fortunes over $100 million. For years, the world's wealthiest have seen their fortunes grow, often outpacing the growth of the global economy itself. Now, leaders are asking, is it time for a change? The plan: a 2% tax on these massive fortunes, raising an estimated $214 billion every year. That's enough to fund major social programs, invest in infrastructure, or tackle urgent issues like climate change and healthcare. For billionaires, it's pocket change. For governments, it's transformative. Imagine what could be accomplished if even a fraction of that wealth was redirected to public good. This isn't just theory. Countries are taking sides, and Canada is right in the thick of it. The timing isn't random. With elections looming and public frustration rising, leaders are under pressure to act. The wealth gap has become a canyon, and the world's finally paying attention. The divide between rich and poor is more visible than ever, fueling debates from parliament to the streets. While most people worry about rent, a tiny elite has seen their wealth skyrocket. The contrast is stark, and it's sparking calls for change from citizens and politicians alike. The G7 proposal is governments saying, maybe it's time the winners help pay for the stadium. It's a symbolic shift, suggesting that those who benefit most from the system should help support it. For Canada, this is more than a trend. It's a statement about what kind of country we want to be. Are we a nation that values fairness and opportunity for all, or one that lets inequality grow unchecked? Do we let wealth concentrate at the top, or do we use it to lift everyone up? The choice will shape our society for generations. This isn't just about money, it's about fairness, the future, and whether countries can work together to solve a problem that affects us all. Global cooperation will be key to making any wealth tax effective. The stakes are huge and the story is just beginning. The decisions made now could echo for decades. The world is watching. Will the rich finally pay their share, or will old patterns persist, leaving inequality to deepen? Canada's decision could shape its future, and maybe the world's. Other countries are watching closely, ready to follow or resist. The next moves will define what kind of society we build. Will we invest in our communities, our children, and our shared future? The question isn't just, can we tax the rich? It's, what will we do with the power that brings? The answer could redefine what's possible. The debate is on, and the outcome could change everything. Stay tuned as history unfolds. Let's simplify the wealth tax. It's a hot topic, but it doesn't have to be complicated. Think of it this way. Income tax is on what you earn each year, while a wealth tax is on what you already have, your accumulated assets, investments, and fortunes. The G7's new plan zeroes in on fortunes over $100 million. We're talking about the ultra-wealthy, company founders, major investors, and global tycoons, not your successful uncle or the local business owner. The proposed tax rate is just 2%. For someone with $100 million, that's $2 million a year. For billionaires, it's even more. But still a small slice of their vast fortunes, barely a blip on their radar. But when you apply this tax to the world's largest fortunes, the numbers get staggering. $214 billion a year, collected from just the richest of the rich. This isn't about punishing success or demonizing wealth. It's about responsibility, ensuring those who benefit most from society contribute their fair share. Billionaires rely on public infrastructure, educated workers, and stable societies to build and maintain their empires. Roads, schools, and safe communities are the foundation of their success. The tax simply asks the biggest winners to help maintain and strengthen the very system they profit from, so it can keep working for everyone. The US would raise the lion's share, $161 billion annually, enough to fund major programs or reduce deficits. The rest of the G7, including Canada, would split the remaining $53 billion, bringing new resources to their economies. Canada's share? Billions, every single year. Money that could be invested in our future. This isn't a one-time windfall. It's a steady, reliable stream of revenue that could reshape Canada's finances for generations, funding healthcare, education, and innovation. Of course, the ultra-rich will look for loopholes and creative ways to shield their wealth. But if the G7 acts together, closing tax havens and sharing information, it becomes much harder to hide fortunes. A united front means fewer places to run and more accountability for those at the very top. This is about rebalancing the scales, making the system fairer for everyone, not tearing down success or ambition. For Canada, the potential is enormous. More funding for public services, less pressure on the middle class, and a stronger social safety net for all. The plan is ambitious, and it won't be easy. But the payoff, greater equality, opportunity, and stability, is too big to ignore. It's a chance to make the system work for everyone, not just the top 0.01%. Imagine a Canada where prosperity is shared more broadly. The world's richest have had a long run, amassing fortunes while the rules stayed the same. Now, the rules might finally change. The question is, will Canada seize this historic moment and lead the way? The answer could define a generation. The countdown has started, and the future is in our hands. Why now? Because the world's had enough. The pandemic exposed just how fragile our systems are and how much the ultra-rich have gained. Countries like Brazil and Spain are rallying for global wealth taxes, and the EU is proposing new taxes on big companies. The message: the money has to come from somewhere, and those who can afford it should pay more. Extreme wealth is now a global issue, not just a national one. When all major economies move together, it's harder for the rich to dodge taxes. This is about turning risky national policies into powerful international standards. The world's finally realizing some problems are too big to solve alone. Let's get real. What could billions in new revenue do for Canada? Even a conservative share, say $8 billion a year, could transform healthcare, shorter wait times, more staff, better equipment. Infrastructure, think new subways, high-speed rail, and modernized ports. Education and affordability, lower tuition, more affordable housing, expanded childcare. This isn't just patching holes, it's building the Canada of tomorrow. The money could lift up the middle class and those struggling to get by. It's about using wealth at the top to create opportunities for everyone. The possibilities are endless if the will is there. This is more than a tax, it's a chance to invest in a better future. The question, will we take it? The answer could change lives for generations. The stakes have never been higher. Billions in new revenue isn't just numbers, it's a shot at a more secure, prosperous Canada. The green transition needs massive investment, renewables, electric grids, energy-efficient homes. A wealth tax could fund this shift, creating jobs and making Canada a leader in clean tech. Social programs like long-term care for seniors could finally get the funding they deserve. Better pay for support workers, safer homes for the elderly. Real dignity for those who built this country. Innovation and research could get a boost, fueling breakthroughs in medicine, AI, and advanced manufacturing. Grants for startups, more support for universities, building a knowledge economy, not just digging resources. This isn't a cost, it's an investment in Canada's future. The wealth tax could be the engine for a smarter, healthier, more resilient nation. The opportunity is here. Will we take it? The US is the wild card in this global debate, holding enormous influence over what happens next. If it joins the G7 wealth tax, the plan is almost unstoppable. The sheer size of the American economy means its participation would set a powerful precedent for the rest of the world. America could raise $161 billion a year, more than the rest of the G7 combined. That's a staggering sum, with the potential to reshape not just US society, but global priorities. But US politics are deeply divided, with fierce debates raging in Congress and on the streets. Some Americans see the wealth tax as a step toward fairness, while others view it as an attack on the American dream and personal success. As of July 2025, the US is still debating, distracted by other tax fights and election year politics. The outcome remains uncertain. If America hesitates, Canada and others must decide. Do they wait for US leadership or move ahead without it, risking a split among allies? By joining with Europe and Japan, Canada could help create a powerful bloc, even if the US sits out. This alliance could set new global standards. This would show the world that progress doesn't need American permission and that bold action is possible from other leaders. Canada could gain an edge, stronger social safety nets, more innovation, and a reputation for forward-thinking policy. It could become a more attractive place to live and work, drawing talent and investment from around the world. If the US stalls, it risks falling behind as other nations move forward with new ideas and policies. This isn't about beating America, it's about choosing a different path, one that prioritizes collective progress over competition. Canada can lead by example, showing that prioritizing collective well-being over individual enrichment is possible and effective. The world is watching to see who moves first and who dares to set a new course. The next chapter could redefine global leadership, shifting the center of gravity away from Washington. Canada's choice, follow or lead, will echo far beyond its borders. The answer could shift the balance of power, not just in North America but across the globe. The stakes? Nothing less than the future of fair capitalism. The world waits, watching for the first bold move. The G7 wealth tax isn't happening in a vacuum. Canada and the US are already clashing over taxes, like Canada's digital services tax on tech giants. The US pushed back hard, seeing it as a threat to its companies. This tension sets the stage for the wealth tax debate. Now, Canada isn't acting alone. It's joining forces with Europe and others. It's safety in numbers and a stronger negotiating position. The digital tax fight taught Canada to play smarter, not just harder. The real issue, a growing divide over how to tax the modern economy. The G7 wealth tax is the next battleground. It's not just about money, it's about who sets the rules. Could this be Canada's moment to lead? By championing the wealth tax, Canada steps out of America's shadow and sets a global example. Billions in new revenue could build a fairer, more innovative society. This is soft power, winning respect through values, not force. Canada is forging new alliances, less dependent on the US, more connected to Europe and emerging powers. It's a smart move for a more resilient, independent Canada. This isn't anti-American, it's pro-Canadian. By leading on fairness, Canada could boost its global standing more than any trade deal. This could be a turning point from follower to leader. The world is watching. As of July 2025, Canada and its allies are pushing for a bold new way to fund society. The US hesitates, but Canada isn't trying to win a head-to-head contest. It's changing the rules, championing a more inclusive, stable capitalism. Billions in new revenue could transform public services, drive a green transition, and ease cost of living pressures. This would boost Canada's influence and independence. The real win? Proving you don't have to choose between a dynamic economy and a fair society. If Canada and its partners succeed, they could set a new global standard. Outplaying the US isn't about size, it's about having the best game plan. The future belongs to those who lead with vision. Canada's next move could change the world.